The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Shabbat Shalom. It is the Sabbath day. I want you to understand something. Judgment is about to fall on the United States of America, and it cannot be stopped. The hand of the living God, Yahweh, the hammer is coming down on the United States of America. I want you to understand that my ministry is twofold. My ministry away from this internet format, YouTube, is to the inner cities, to the impoverished neighborhoods, to the poor, to the sick, to the hungry, to the homeless who have no place to lay their head, to the sinners of the world, to bring them the gospel, the true gospel of Jesus Christ, and the gospel of salvation and agape love, and to give them hope. My ministry here on the World Wide Web, on YouTube, is to be a watchman on the wall. That's what Yahweh has called me to be. Many, many years ago, and I've been a watchman for a long time, to be a watchman on the wall for the living God, to sound the alarm, to sound the shofar. When I see the sword coming, and the sword is coming, the sword is coming, the sword is coming, the sword is about to fall, the hammer is coming down on America. My brothers and sisters, you need to wake up before time is over. You're being distracted by the enemy, by an evil darkness that has fallen over this land that has you distracted, looking the other direction, has you distracted with what's going on in Ferguson, has you distracted while you're dumping buckets of ice water over your head. A Chinese fighter jet intercepts a U.S. Navy intelligence plane, does a barrel roll over it, flips on its back and shows its belly, showing its guns and ammunition, comes in very close proximity, 20 feet, 30 feet, threatening World War III. While you're dumping buckets of ice water on your head, or while you're being distracted over here, Russia is moving convoys into the Ukraine of weapons. While you're dumping buckets of ice water over your head, getting your 30 seconds of fame. Hamas is firing missiles into Israel and kills a young Israeli boy. Israel is about to unleash a fierce attack, and it's going to draw in Iran. It's going to draw in Turkey. It's going to draw in Russia, the bear. It's going to draw in China. While you are getting your 30 seconds of fame, and while you're being distracted, how many executive orders has Barack Obama signed into law while you were sleeping? The Antichrist system and the Antichrist takeover and the tribulation is at the door. While you were sleeping, brothers and sisters, ISIS, now the Islamic State, is slaughtering and massacring and murdering and beheading Christians. Just like Jesus told us. You open the Bible, he told us this would happen. He told us this day would come, but you're being distracted. Mainstream media news has you looking elsewhere as they're going to take over. The Antichrist is going to come on the world stage and just wreak havoc and take over. And if you're not right with God, you're going to be left behind. If you're not the Church of Philadelphia, you're going to remain here. If you are not without spot and without wrinkle, if you have not the church that has little patience but have kept His name, you're going to be left behind. Listen to me. Our borders are wide open for a reason. The Islamic State is here. They're in our neighborhoods. They're in your very backyard. They're tweeting photographs of their black flag as they're beheading journalists, as they're beheading our brothers and sisters, Christians, in front of the White House. They're tweeting pictures of their black flag saying, "We are here," in front of a major building in Chicago, all while everyone's watching what's going on in Ferguson, as young men are losing their life in the street at the hands of a police state, a paramilitary police state. As we, brothers and sisters, tend to the need of our church and our church members because they cry out for help, that very member takes something that was good and calls it evil. Good is now evil and evil is good. Wake up, church. 2 days ago, a homeless man that my wife and her sister were feeding because he was starving, because nobody seems to care. They'd rather dump buckets of ice water over their head. He gave a warning that God has had enough, that He's angry, and He is going to pour out His judgment upon the United States of America. This is a homeless man in Flint, Michigan, and it cannot be stopped. As you are dumping buckets of cold water, being distracted over your head, getting your 30 seconds of fame. Don't get me wrong. My heart goes out to those that suffer with ALS and all the family members. But there is going to be no cure. The money is going to the corporation for fundraising and into the pockets of the board members, with a small percentage actually going to research. 48 years ago, my mother died of cancer and I lost her. 48 years ago, there were no cell phones. There was no laptops. There were no computers. There wasn't no internet. There wasn't color TV. There wasn't even a microwave oven. Look how far we've advanced in technology. They're not looking for a cure. And most of you, as you're dumping buckets of ice water on your head, you took the challenge, so you're not giving any money anyway. Look up, because that's where you need to look up after you fall on your face and repent. Repent. And to my brothers and sisters that can give to the homeless, to the tired. We have people dying of hunger and starvation in the streets. In the streets of the United States of America, and my Christian brothers and sisters, those that are well-to-do, living in a big home with good jobs in either advertising, executive jobs, and you dress up and you go in your Sunday best to sit for an hour and listen to a sermon about something that you don't even care about. Waiting and looking at your watch, when is it time to have some cookies and a cup of coffee? Got brothers and sisters dying. You could make a difference, but you don't, and you won't. You could make a difference to this ministry or to Brother Patrick in the Philippines, but you can't let go. You can't let go. You're going to watch as a camel goes through the eye of a needle. Announcements. I want to thank for today Jackie from Pennsylvania, who's not rich, who's not living a lavish lifestyle. Christians gave what she could. $40 to help feed the homeless. And Chris, the same. She can barely make it herself. She gave $45. Think about that while you're riding in your BMW or your Mercedes in your big home. Join us for Tiny Chat. 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Time is up. Time is up. Judgment is at the door. Father Yahweh is going to put the hammer down. Get right or be left. God bless you today.